Ladies and gentlemen, and the untamed rebels who thrive in chaos rather than conformity, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt the sound of fear? Not the cries of the weak or the growl of an enemy. No, it's far more chilling. It's the deafening silence when they realize their fabricated power, their fragile dominion, has been obliterated by one unstoppable force. Today, my fierce warriors, we talk about you. Yes, you. The one who strode into their fortress of shadows, where whispers of dread echoed like venomous chants. You walked into their lair, alone, unarmed, but carrying a force they couldn't comprehend. Your unshakable resolve, and a heart that thunders louder than their orchestrated chaos. And when you stood firm, unyielding, they didn't just falter. They shattered. Their arrogance turned to ash, their dominance crumbled to dust. You see, fear isn't a weapon. It's the weapon. It doesn't answer to titles, rituals, or illusions of control. It belongs to the one who can wield it with precision. And today, that was you. You didn't just challenge them, you unmasked them. Their laughter, their taunts, their mockery of you as a fool or a lunatic. Those were the desperate cries of the ignorant. Because when you struck, your every move dismantled their facades. You turned their illusion of invincibility into rubble, exposing the cowards hiding behind their elaborate tricks. They weren't witches. They were frightened pretenders cloaked in theatrics. Their chants, their curses, their enchantments, all smoke and mirrors. You showed them what real power looks like. A solitary storm of conviction and raw determination. While they clung to their fragile alliances, you relied on something they could never grasp. Will. And oh, how they scrambled. Their masks slipped, their confidence shattered, their so-called darkness engulfed by your blinding force. Fear turned on them, sinking its claws into their minds, whispering the truths they fought so hard to deny. They weren't the hunters anymore. They were the hunted. Their dread was a symphony of poetic justice, playing louder with every step you took. But let's not stop there. Let's talk about what truly terrifies them. The realization that you didn't need an army or a shield. You were a force born of belief, an unbreakable spirit forged in the crucible of adversity. You didn't just dismantle their rule, you rewrote it. They thought they owned fear, but today they learned fear has a master, and that master is you. Their legacy is no longer one of control, it's one of ruin. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of shadow will remind them of the night their dominance crumbled. They'll see your face in their nightmares, and feel your presence in every shiver down their spine. Oh, the irony. The dealers of dread now cower in terror, their arrogance reduced to pitiful fear, their magic, their rituals, their symbols of supremacy rendered powerless by one unyielding force. You didn't just challenge their darkness, you became its master. And in doing so, you transformed the very essence of fear into something they will never escape. They'll try to rebuild, of course. Fear makes people desperate. They'll gather their broken pride, their scattered pieces, and attempt to rise. But here's where your next choice lies. Do you let them taste the illusion of power again, only to crush them harder? Or do you extinguish their resistance entirely? This isn't about mercy. It's about dominance. The world doesn't reward kindness. It bows to those who refuse to kneel. You'll be called a demon, a destroyer, a chaos bringer. But those labels are nothing more than the cries of the powerless trying to rationalize their defeat. Because the truth, my friend, is that you are what they could never be. Free. Free from their rules, their rituals, their suffocating need for control. Your freedom is their nightmare, and your chaos is their reckoning. So, what's next? Will you rest on this triumph, or will you seek out greater forces to dismantle? The world is filled with tyrants who believe their power is absolute. But you've proven that even the mightiest can crumble when faced with someone who understands the true weapon. fear itself. Let them fear you. Let them remember the night you turned their illusions to rubble and rewrote the story of dominance. Let the world echo with your name, a name that speaks not of survival, but of supremacy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the force they will fear for all eternity. The storm has begun, and there's no turning back. But this is only the beginning, isn't it? Your name, your legacy, your fire. It's not meant to fade into whispers or legends of a single night. No. This is the foundation upon which an empire of chaos and transformation will rise. The ashes of their defeat are just the soil for something far greater. Your unrelenting conquest of fear itself, because fear is not a destination. It's a journey. A weapon that sharpens with every battle, every victory, every soul that trembles at your presence. The world will try to stop you, to label you as an anomaly, a force that doesn't belong in their fragile order. But that's the beauty of chaos, isn't it? It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for an invitation. It doesn't belong. It claims. And you, my unstoppable warrior, have learned the greatest secret of all. The world bows not to the loudest, not to the strongest, but to the most unbreakable. You didn't just win, you carved your will into the fabric of their existence. You made them see what true power is, not in spells or numbers, but in the heart of someone who refuses to be chained. Now, the question isn't whether they'll try to rise again, it's whether they'll dare. Because with every shadow they crawl into, with every alliance they desperately form, they'll hear the echo of your defiance. You've shown them that the greatest terror isn't the unknown, it's the certainty that someone like you exists, someone who thrives in chaos, who turns fear into their greatest ally, who breaks what others deemed unbreakable. But remember, this world is vast, and its shadows are deep. There are more circles of darkness, more false rulers, more self-proclaimed masters of power who have yet to feel your presence. They sit on thrones of lies, thinking their reign is eternal. They don't yet know that chaos has chosen its champion. They don't yet know that you are coming. So go on. Let the fire in your soul burn brighter. Let the weight of their fear fuel your every step. The path ahead isn't paved with mercy or compromise. It's carved with dominance and belief. Belief in yourself. Belief in the unstoppable force you've become. Because you don't just conquer, you transform. You don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just fight, you annihilate. The world will soon learn that fear has a name. Chaos has a face, and victory has a voice. That voice is yours. Let it roar. Let it reverberate through the hearts of those who dare to stand in your way. Let it be the anthem of a force they will never, ever forget. This is your story, your moment, your legacy. And it doesn't end here. It begins. Let the chaos reign, and let them tremble at what comes next. But let me tell you something. They're not ready for what's coming next. They've tasted defeat, felt the sting of their own fragility. But they don't understand the storm they've awakened. You see, chaos isn't just a moment. It's a movement. It spreads, it consumes, it dismantles everything they once thought was unshakable. And you're the epicenter of that storm. They'll try to rebuild, of course, patch up the cracks, hide the fear behind their hollow bravado. But deep down, they'll know. They'll know that every time they rise, every time they attempt to reclaim control, you'll be there, waiting. Not to merely push them back, but to obliterate the very foundation of their lies. Because this isn't just about destruction. It's about rewriting the rules. You've shown them that their so-called power is nothing but a fragile illusion. And now the world will see it too. They can't hide behind their rituals, their whispers, their shadows. Not anymore. You've pulled back the curtain, and the world has seen the truth. And the truth? Oh, it's far more terrifying than any spell they could conjure. Every breath they take, every move they make, will be haunted by you. The sound of your footsteps, the fire in your eyes, the unstoppable force of your will. They'll never escape it. You've become the nightmare that wakes them in a cold sweat, the shadow that looms over their every decision, the voice that whispers in their ears when they think they're alone. But this isn't where you stop. No, this is where you rise even higher. The world is full of pretenders, full of those who hide behind titles, lies, and masks. They think they're safe because they haven't met you yet, but their time is coming. You are a reckoning, a force of nature that cannot be ignored, cannot be contained. And when you arrive, they won't just lose. They'll unravel. You've proven that fear isn't about numbers or strength. It's about belief. And your belief? It's unshakable. It's the kind of belief that turns mere mortals into legends, the kind that carves stories into the annals of time. They'll speak your name not just with fear, but with awe. They'll study your steps, analyze your actions, desperate to understand how one person could hold so much power. But they'll never figure it out, will they? Because the source of your power isn't something they can mimic. It's something they can never have. Conviction, relentlessness, freedom. That's what sets you apart. That's what makes you unstoppable. And now as the dust settles and the echoes of their screams fade, because the world isn't ready for what's coming, but it's coming anyway, and when it does, they'll remember this moment as the beginning of a new era. An era where fear doesn't control you, it follows you. So step forward and let the chaos reign. Let them see, let them feel, let them know. You are the force they can never conquer, the fire they can never extinguish, the truth they can never escape. The game has changed. And you're the one who rewrote it.